Welcome to the Northern Knits Podcast. We are two friends in fiber who chat at each other across the internet about fiber, crafting, and really anything else that floats across our brain. This is episode 190. We're actually doing it on a Sunday, so we may be slightly more coherent than episode 189. Well, you are drinking wine. My name is Jocelyn. I currently call Winnipeg, Manitoba home. My co-host is
Diana, and I call Waterloo, Ontario home.
Exactly. So we are going to do all sorts of interesting things. Diana is currently working on things that require her to remember stitch counts. We'll see how well this goes.
Oh yeah, guaranteed live fiber flub sometime this episode.
At some point it'll happen. I'm in the tail end of I just traveled and should stay home for 14 days, but it doesn't matter because my province is on lockdown.
There's nothing to go do anyway.
Well, there's stuff to do. It's just not stuff I'd go do because I'm not one of those people that flaunts the rules. I am a rule follower. Much to my mother's chagrin, I don't like jaywalking. I will go to the end. Shall we talk about what's in our cup? Since between show notes and waiting, I'm just about out of a cup.
Yeah. Let's actually get on with. Let's get on with it.
Oh man. I am having some decaf coffee because I still have to be caffeine free.
Woo.
Not woo. My brain farts are extensive now. Extensive. I'm just getting used to functioning without caffeine. Or at least caffeine in coffee. I still eat chocolate and other things, so I still get caffeine. I just don't get it the usual way.
Good Lord. This wind. Can you hear it?
Nope. Just you getting distracted.
You know in the movies when it's a dark and stormy night and the ghosts are coming and the windows are like shaking and the wind is howling and then it turns out to actually be a banshee rattling the window and screaming?
Yes.
It's that sound.
You have banshees?
I think I have window banshees.
Window banshees. I feel like that's a very specific problem.
I know, right? Like, what do you do with a window banshee? They're not anywhere else. They're just in the window.
How does one get a window banshee? Like, is there a form you have to fill out in triplicate somewhere?
No,
I don't want regular banshees. I only like window banshees.
I don't like any banshees. I think these ones just came with the apartment.
Oh, gosh. Oh, that's going to amuse me for the rest of the day. All right.
Right. In my cup, I have the last little bit of some wine that I don't remember what it was. Some kind of local Ontario wine. It's really good. I should have looked at the label because I would recommend it's quite tasty.
I feel like some people not being able to hear the window clink is going to blame the wine for your banshees, not the wind. Just gonna put that out there for you.
I'll send you a video clip of this later.
Banshee window? Okay.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Like, I'm slightly concerned that a window pane is actually going to pop out. Like, it's really windy.
She's giving her today, is she? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Like, the window is closed, and the shade in front of it is still moving.
Oh, yeah. Then you are not sealed well.
No. Hence window banshees. Moving along. You had some cool threads this week.
I did. I'm not leaving the house, but I do wear my cardigans in the house because my fireplace is broken.
Right. Thought about that.
Oh, this week it's been a broken fireplace on Sunday, and then by Thursday I had to call an emergency plumber, and then What
happened on Thursday?
Wednesday? Might have been Wednesday. Must have been Wednesday because Thursday I was rewashing the floors for the second time. Guys, I live in a basement and I live in a house with a lot of old growth trees in the neighborhood. I'm in an established suburb neighborhood. That means every couple of years or every 5 years, somewhere between 2 and 5 years, you got to get the main line run because roots grow into the line looking for water, right? Because it's a source of water and they want it. And everything that leaves your house gets caught up on the roots. So I came home, I'd gone out with my brother-in-law so that I could go tell him to push buttons on the drive-through at the teller so I could deposit a check. And then he went in and we went in and he went into Walmart and got stuff because I'm not supposed to be out near people. And I sat in the car and looked pretty. He's also faster because he can see. And then we went through Tim Hortons. Like we did things and I wasn't allowed to leave the car. It's just fine because I had the money, right? He took me out to go get a check deposited. Came home and I had water all over my living room floor, into the bedroom, and all in my bathroom, which
Oh
tells me the
no.
main line has backed up. So early mid-afternoon, I had to call my parents because they own the house. They do the maintenance stuff. I just oversee and maintain the house for them. Call the emergency plumber. So call to make sure that I could use the credit card I have to use for house emergencies was good. Was good. Called the plumber to get the plumber. Love Roto-Rooter. Thank you so much. Pat is a goddess. She got me someone at the house in less than 20 minutes because they happened to be on Dunkirk, which is freaking close to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he just hopped right over and just and it was just roots. It's just everything backs up once the roots get into the line. So he did that, pulled it out. It was done. By the time my dad's like, by the time he's like, I turned around and was ready for you to go, yep, I've got an appointment. He's like, the plumber guy was calling to confirm he could use my card. It's like he was there already doing the work. Like, oh yeah, we gotta go. But then there's like the 3 loads of laundry, and I literally mopped the floors that morning, so I had to redo all my floors and redo the bathroom. And there was a damp cat. Like it was hot messed out here for like half a day while I cleaned again. Now, when you come home for vacation, what's the first thing you gotta do? Clean. Because you've got accumulations of dust. You've got other things going, like it's got to be done. So I already knew I was committed to like 3 or 4 days heavy cleaning. So I just committed to 6 or 7 instead. Let's just say by the time Critical Role rolled out on Thursday evening, I was so happy to sit down and have nothing to do. It's ready to be done. So the house has not broken me in kindly for being gone for 2 months. Fireplace tried to burn the house down. Sewer back down.
Like your cat
Great
doesn't
week.
Your cat doesn't even need to punish you. The house is doing it.
The house has broken me in. I'm back into house carrying mode. I never left. I don't know why it was fearful of this. But yeah, that was my week this week. Doesn't that sound exciting? You want to own a house, right?
Still renting. Just renting for now.
Yep. Great fun. I'm excited to go back to being a renter. I do not miss this part of house ownership. I don't think I will when I go. Just occurred to me I didn't double check to make sure the filters got changed on the furnace. Crud. I'll do that tomorrow. So, needless to say, I've been wearing cardigans because I have no fireplace. And I've had windows open. All sorts of things going on. I wore my mallow, which I made for a knit-along last year before. I think year before.
I don't remember.
I think year before. It is I did mine out of a Barocco vintage, and it's a lacework patterned back. And then I made the mallow, which is the cardigan. The marsh is the pullover, and it has the same lacework pattern in the back. So I did that because it was a marshmallow along. Get the pun?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I did that. Yeah, it must have been 2 years ago because I bought the yarn for that when I was out visiting mom, I think 2 years ago from Prairie Lily Knitting and Needlework. That's where I got the Barocco vintage in that really pretty blue that I have it in. So I wore that this week. And then I've been wearing my boyfriend cardigan, which is a crocheted cardigan pattern that I made out of acrylic glacier. And the color is great glacier, but what line of yarn is it? Came in these really big balls, and I freaking love it. I made a blanket out of the leftovers. So soft, so freaking fuzzy. I don't know. You know what? If we remember, and by remember I mean I'll look it up when we're done recording. I'm sure Diana can drop it in the notes down below for everybody because it's a Lion Brand line of yarn, and it's just so nice. So nice. So I am really happy with those ones, but I've been doing those ones a lot this week. I don't know if you guys can hear the washing machine going on or not.
No, can't hear
Okay.
anything.
Cool. It
We're both
sure is.
We're both being accosted by sounds, and
As long as the
can't hear it.
microphone's not picking it up, that's all that matters. So
I did
that's
not
it
have
for
any
me.
cool. I have no cool threads because it was warm, and now it's like 80-kilometer winds, so I'm not outside.
We're like -4 or -6 for highs in the day right now. It's beautiful winter weather.
We're still solidly in late fall, going up to like 10 most days.
That's a nice
Not
temperature range for
today.
you.
Today is just so windy. So windy.
So, shall we? You have, well, I mean, you said you weren't going anywhere because dear God wins.
Yeah, I might blow away.
Shall we talk what we're working on?
Yeah. I think you have one more thing than I do.
Well, when I don't, you ask me if I'm feeling okay.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So I've had to buckle down and do some focusing because Diana might have picked up a shawl collar this week.
I may have done this, yes.
You may have done this. So only 3 projects this week, not my usual 5. And not a single one of them was the blanket. I threaded the needle to sew more squares, and then went, no.
We're taking a break here.
We're taking a break. I will pick that up again as soon as possible because I'd like to get it done, but I have delighted in not having to do squares today. I wake up every morning and go, I'm going to work on squares. Never happens. I have put on some significant progress on my socks. My grandpa socks are almost at the heel now. So I've got to get into the next color change here. Good. I got another inch and a half to go, and then I should be at my heel. So these are my grandpa socks, which are just a plain vanilla sock pattern. I'm doing 2 at a time, toe up, because that's how I make my socks. For me, a pair of grandpa socks are dark gray, medium gray, and red.
Yep.
Because it reminds me of the colors my grandpa wears, which is dark gray, medium gray, and red, because grandma liked him in those colors, and she bought a lot of his clothes when she was alive. I suspect there'll be greens and stuff floating in there now, because he'll be buying his own stuff at this point. My socks are in my Erin Lane bag, which right now doesn't travel anywhere because of reasons. So that's a thing. That happened. It's the way of the world these days. But does work well to sit beside my bed while I work on in the evening while I'm relaxing before I go to sleep. Sometimes I don't find it beside my bed in the morning when I wake up because the cat's moved it to her bed. Just travels the length of my room, but that's fine. The yarn doesn't come out. That's the important part.
She just wants to cuddle the project?
It depends on what her mood is, because sometimes she brings toys to bed to convince me to wake up to play with her. So like sometimes I'll wake up and there's like stuffed mice and springs and other cat toys right beside me on the other half of my bed. And a cat looking at me. So it just depends on what she's in the mood for, I guess. Sometimes I think she just likes carrying things around. So my yarn goes for trips every once in a while. Just the sock sack bags, because she can carry those easily. The other ones she can't carry as easily. Do you have 1 or 2 things?
2 things.
Cool. Well, then you can
kind
go.
of. The first thing is that the sweater that has now 2 matching sleeves. Look at that. Look at those matching. That's not. You can't look at that. Hang on.
You can't? Well, I'm sure they can. You're just not going to show
I didn't do
them.
a very good job of showing it. We're all bunched up. So there.
Okay.
There's matching sleeves. I have matching sleeves now. I unpicked the bind off that I had mistakenly done 6 rows early. Read your pattern all the way through, people.
Oh my gosh, so good. We all make that mistake.
Yeah, I was too excited. I bound off 6 rows early, and I'm like, I really haven't used a lot of this gray. I'm really confused as to. And then I scrolled over to the other column, and it's like, oh, that's why. So I unpicked the bind off, did my last stripe of the purple, did my 4 rows of the gray, and then I bound off. So now they match.
You feel better?
Yes, I do feel better because it was noticeable that they did not match.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was.
So now this looks absolutely terrible because I don't have sufficiently long cables on my needles. I have picked up for the shawl collar, so now it just looks like I'm kind of strangling this weird bag with hangy off bits. It doesn't look like a sweater right now.
I feel like show title for this week is Hanging Off Bits.
Hangy off bits. Yeah, so
Yeah.
because you pick up all the way up the front edge, oof, as I punch myself in the face, ow, around the back and down the other side, it's just kind of all jammed up on a cord that is too short right now.
You shouldn't mention anger.
No, I really shouldn't. I should also pay attention to space that is like actually here and not what is two-dimensional on a screen over there, because this leads me to punching my microphone into my face. That'll teach me for checking if I'm in frame.
That will teach you, ma'am.
So
oh goodness.
I did the pickup. I was supposed to get 113 stitches, and I got on my first try. Did I say 113? I meant 114.
You said
114.
No,
314.
There we go.
I have the right numbers in the wrong order.
Like,
314 is the number of stitches. I was picturing the right number in my head. I just couldn't say it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Supposed to have 314 stitches. And I picked up 314 stitches on my first try.
Which
I'm excited.
Which I don't think you've done yet. I don't think you've done a successful pickup first go.
No, as I understand, that's a very challenging thing to do. So I'm really delighted that it worked.
I'm very excited to join your shawl collar.
I'm trying to remember the last time I had to pick up stitches for something.
It's been a while, but I know you have.
I definitely have.
Yeah.
I think the last time I picked up stitches, I might have been picking up stitches for you on something.
Possible? Possible. I don't know. I did hear the basement door open and close. And a rapid movement of feet. That would be my niece. I'm recording.
Okay.
Can you put it on the refrigerator, please? Can you close the door properly on the refrigerator, please? Yeah. Thank you.
Hi. No, it didn't work.
It didn't work. You weren't in frame. The internet saw
Hello.
nothing. Now it sees an arm. Jeez. Teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
She was trying to catch up from her mom borrowed from yesterday.
Ah.
All right, so I'm in crunch time. Diana's got a shawl collar on. I have to finish re-knitting my flat white. So I knit the whole sweater. I did it for the girls, which are decidedly bigger than any other part of my body. So there was enough space in the original flat white body to stick my niece up in there. And for the record, guys, she's 5'9" now. She's not small. She's still skinny as all get out, but she's a teenager. They're all lean and no body fat to them as far as I can tell, because they're too busy stretching and growing. So I was like, okay, Diana's almost at shawl collar. That means I have got to get to going to get my stuff done. And this is going to be awkward to show because I have made some significant progress and I hate picking up stitches like you would not believe. I hate picking up stitches. It's so hard for me to do. So I have the collar done. I've split for the sleeves. I put them on a set of needles. And I'm making my way down the body.
Ah, okay. So you're going to have an entire sweater in the time it takes me to do a shawl collar.
Well, I think the running one is that there's so much shawl collar that I had time to knit a sweater so long as I was underway by the time you started your shawl collar. So when you're like, I got to pick up stitches this week, I was like, oh my word. I gotta get going. So last week I had done my first chart and I was getting into my snowflake chart, which I have now completed. And then I did my third chart at the bottom. It's called stay stitching. So what I did is I just tacked my collar down because I knit double the width of the collar so I could fold it over so you'd get this nice folded edge going on.
Ah, very nice.
But I didn't want to sit it down at the sewing machine to sew it down properly, like with a proper zigzag stitch, so you get a nice stretch going in there with the ribbing. So I just did a quick tack down so that I could do, because they do it by inch measurements, so that you know when you're done. So if your row gauge is a little bit off, it's okay. You knit to a certain inch measurement and then you move on to the next step. So I needed my edge. I needed the right edge. So I did that real quick. So I still have to go, but I mean, I'm gonna have to do the same with my sleeves and my hem too. So it's fine. I'll just sit down in front of the sewing machine and do it all at once. So I've got that. I've got the sleeves on a cable so that I don't have to pick them up. Thank heavens. I just have to do the pickup on the underarm area. And because it's me and I want to make sure that the fit's better, I looked at my gauge swatch on 5mm in plain stockinette versus my gauge swatch at 5mm with the color work, because I still have my original gauge swatches for this, guys. I knit inside out. So my gauge swatch on a 5mm is bang on to what it needs to be. So, but it needed to be 6mm for my color work. So I did my color work on a 6mm because I'm a tight knitter. And then I'm doing my body on a 5mm so that I don't have too much body and I've got the right gauge marker going on for the size I want. So I actually had to change needles to get this done. But this is my second set of 5mm. I only have two. The other set's in my 8-bit. So I gotta get one of these sweaters done so I can get sleeves going. Because I'd like to do that. So I have random balls of yarn shoved in a Ziploc bag because I had to literally frog an entire sweater body. And now we're just doing miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of stockinette because I need to have 20 inches from my armpit to fit the frame of my body. Most people need 15.
But hey, TV knitting.
15, which is good because I'm currently binge watching The Great Canadian Bake Show. This is what I work on while I am binge watching The Great Canadian Bake Show.
That sounds incredibly just, oh man, I really want just miles of stockinette and like a nice baking show right now.
They're so nice, which seems really cheesy and cliche to say about a bunch of Canadians on a baking competition show, but they're so nice. They help each other and they're very good. Everybody celebrates everything. There's no like cattiness about it.
You're all just there to like, you're all there to do your best, and if
do your best and yeah.
Okay.
Like someone's short a caramel and someone's got leftover caramel, they just bring it over. They're like, here you go. Like, what? Somebody's having a bad time of it. Somebody stops by and goes, no, you've got this. I'm like, what? It's that feel-good TV. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm all about the feel-good TV when I'm binge sweater creating because really, you get sucked in. All right. Which leaves me with one more project.
I have, it's not knitting, it's future knitting. I have future knitting. Much planning was done.
I don't plan. I cast on with wild abandon. What's your plan?
So, okay. I have a little niece and nephew. They're reading Harry Potter right now.
Well, they're the right age for it. What, 6 and 4 now?
Oh gosh, no. It's like 8 and 6.
8 and 6 now? I don't know.
Yeah, they're both in school. So they both know their Hogwarts houses.
School covers a wide age gap. That means nothing.
Grade 2 in kindergarten, I believe.
That's better. That's an age range I can work from. My niece is also in school. She's 14.
Well, I mean, if you're younger than 6, you're not. Well, I guess you're. Never mind. Anyway,
you're
the
still
point of the story.
It's preschool.
Point of the story. They have seen the Hufflepuff mittens that their mom has that was made by a knitting friend, and so of course they want their own house mittens. But their mom's not really into knitting anymore. She's more into scrapbooking. And so they're like, hey, Auntie Diana knits. And so now...
Do they know how long it's going to take them to get a pair of mitts from Auntie Diana? They might be 14.
Well, they first asked me for these mittens back in January.
So I'm right on track with my thinking.
Yeah. And they're still asking. So, that's a lot of dedication for a 6 and an 8-year-old.
That is
So,
some
you know what?
serious commitment.
They're going to get their mittens. I'm going to try to do it for Christmas, but we'll see. It might be January. It might be a birthday present for the 6-year-old.
Unless you're mailing them next week, it's gonna be next
Yeah,
year, dear.
I assume everything's going to be a little bit late this year. It's fine.
I mailed your advent calendar. I paid extra. It still might not make it on time.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, the time they quoted me was like, yeah, it'll get there in like 6 to 8 business days. Like, are you sure? I guess because I'm like basically next door to the sorting center.
Sure. I still haven't seen your advent calendar for me, so
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
As long as it gets there by December, it's fine.
Yep, that's my hope. That's why I paid extra to have a shorter shipping window, hoping mine would make it to you.
If the advent calendars start the 2nd week of December, it's fine.
That's fine. We won't die. My niece might. If I told her she had to wait till mine showed up, she'd cry.
Yeah, well, she's still a kid. She might be 5'9", but she's still a kid.
Oh yeah, hey, tall kid. Anyway, you're gonna do some house mittens?
Yeah. So I know exactly what patterns they're talking about, and those patterns are in adult sizes only. So I'm like, I spent a lot of time staring at them yesterday trying to figure out if I buy this pattern, how easy would it be to size down? And I decided that, you know what? There's these free house charts, like the house logo charts, for the badger and the raven and the whatever. And
the badger and the raven and the whatever.
Yeah, I only care about the badger and the raven. Because T has decided he's Hufflepuff and W has decided she's Ravenclaw, so they're getting those are their mittens. Where was I going? Oh yeah, and I found this free child-size Norwegian style mitten pattern. So with much graph paper and using the free child-sized Norwegian pattern as a template, and then slapping on the free house logos, and then kind of basing the rest of it on the adult-sized mitten that I know both the kids are thinking of, so that it at least looks something like they're thinking.
Just see a table worth of graph paper going on in my mind, and you furiously scribbling to get it all to work.
So here's the top of the Ravenclaw, which is very glary right now. So I drafted one mitten pattern. Here's the one for the Hufflepuff mittens. And of course we need I gotta do something with both the colors on the inside. So here's the inside of the mitten.
Oh my word.
I have not drafted the thumb yet. I will draft the thumb when I get to the thumb. Or it's not really drafting, it's charting. So I spent like I spent an entire Critical Role episode yesterday drafting these things and erasing, and there's just eraser shavings like all over the place right now. They're just everywhere on my desk. I cleaned them up and they're still everywhere on my desk.
So what you're saying is it'd be easier if I just asked for an adult set of Harry Potter mittens?
Yes. So this is...
Hey, if you want to practice your Hufflepuff.
So that's what I ended up with. I think it came out okay.
I think they look fine. I think it'll be great and that they will enjoy it. And it will drive you nuts until it is finished.
Yeah. So now I just need to get the yarn.
Please tell me you're not doing that in fingering.
Yeah, it's fingering.
Are you out of your mind?
Well, they're child-sized, so they're not huge.
Your hands are pretty much child-sized.
Yeah, well.
They're so not getting this till birthdays.
I know.
At worsted or DK, I'm like, okay, you could do it. It'd be tight, but doable. Fingering, are you out of your mind?
I'm out of my mind. Yes, I am. So my mission this week is to find some blue, silver, yellow, and black fingering weight yarn because, of course, I do have black, but I don't have any of the other colors in fingering weight. So I need to. Oh no, I need to go yarn shopping. Oh,
Oh
woe
gosh,
is me.
such
Oh,
hardship. Such
hardship,
hardship. Especially since
hardship.
Knitpicks is having their big sale right now.
Ooh.
You're welcome.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I might
Plans
have to
made.
investigate this.
Mhm. I'm not sure how long it's going on for, but it was started last week, so I saw it when it went up. So I was like, hey, look at
I'm just gonna open the Knitpicks website over here so I remember about that. Don't mind me.
Won't give it a
And
second thought. I understand how important yarn shopping is. I did some of that via the phone with my brother-in-law in Walmart.
ooh.
And if you think he can describe colors, you would be wrong. It's not very good. Hey, we got it done. That's all that matters. All right. We are going to blame Dunder Knit. This is a thing that happens. There is a podcast that we watch called Vicariously Knitting. She is freaking delightful. It is swear friendly. It is all the things that I love about podcasting. It's good. It's good. She's been quiet for a little bit because, well, she moved in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, that'll take up a lot of your energy for quite a while.
And
Can confirm.
she calls England home. So it's like that's a thing and works. But she is back and she's podcasting and she's going to do a Blame Dunder knit along. So she's inviting everyone to use the appropriate hashtags and blame her for whatever cast on and project you work on that has absolutely nothing to do with anybody else just because you want to. You were in the mood, you cast it on, but it's not your Christmas knitting, it's fine. You can hide behind her skirts. She's super okay with that. And I love the opportunity to cast on with Wild Abandon and blame someone else for it. Not just because I can't help myself and I cast on with Wild Abandon. So I cast it on with Wild Abandon. One message to Jamie of Cozy Up Knits later because I was having a blonde moment of epic proportions.
Oh dear.
Which I'm blaming on the caffeine. I have cast it on in Scraps, Another Simple Hug. So they have this beautiful little handy thing at the bottom of their pattern, which I read, which I've talked about, where they tell you how to do the math if you want to use different weights of yarn and different needle sizes to get proper gauge to do the simple hug.
Okay.
So they tell you how to do it if you want to make a fingering weight on a 4mm. They tell you how to do it if you want to make it out of super bulky. They give you the skills so that you can do the math. Nice and easy right there. Could I remember that? No. Did I message Jamie going, wait a minute, there's a thing that you could do? Oh, you bet your keister I did. Did Jamie rescue me? Yes, she did. Because she is a kind soul. I need to put coffee back in my life. I need the focus power it gives me. So I have 2 rows of a 2x2 ribbing, which is not what the pattern calls for. I just prefer 2x2 ribbing. If I'm going to rib, it is the ribbing that I like to do, so it is the ribbing that I do. So I am slowly working my way on that. I'm holding a DK weight gray and a fingering gray at the moment. So I have a gray ribbing, which means I will have, and they're going to be long sleeved, so it's going to have just more ribbing for Jocelyn. Isn't that exciting? Okay. I'm going to have a gray border at the bottom. I'm going to have my sides. I've made a simple hug before, and the sides are going to be gray and my sleeves are going to be gray because that's the gray scraps that I have. I have that many gray scraps. It's a lot of gray scraps. Like it's gray scraps for days. And I have 2 more balls of this because this was going to be my shrug again that I got really mad at because it wasn't working right.
Ah.
And I didn't want to reknit the shrug again in that gray. But then I went through because I've been making advent calendars, one to send to Diana and one for one of the Patreon members because we're doing exchanges. Thank heavens, my Patreon exchange is in the city. So I picked out all my other Halloween colors. So all of my scraps of Halloween yarn that I had left over,
Nice.
which is really awkward to show people. So I've got stuff from when I made from the yarn you brought back from Amsterdam. I got going on here. I frogged this sockhead slouch because I couldn't get into wearing it. So I have most of a ball of the Great Pumpkin salvaged, so that's going in. I don't even know when I got this one, but I got a ball of this, and that's pumpkin. That's Halloween colored. So I have a bottom of this bag is just full of yarn, and then it had to go in a Halloween bag. So this
Obviously.
is my Jack bag that you bought me from Sew Into Knitting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a while ago. That was the same time that I bought the Comfort Fade kit.
Yep. Yeah, it was the same year. So I'm making a Halloween colored simple hug. So I have stripes of Halloween. I haven't decided if I want to do a gray and Halloween color or just 2 Halloween colors. Like I haven't thought that far ahead yet. But I have ribbing to do first, and that could take a while. So I'll make the decision after I'm done my ribbing. How does that sound? And I get to blame somebody, not myself, for this cast on. Do I have time to be working on this? Guys, I got Christmas projects out my butt. I do not have time for this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it happening? You betcha. Because once I'm past the ribbing, it'll be into that soup. And I'm going to do this one stockinette, not garter, because I did my first one garter in cotton. And I did it with 2 DK weights of cotton held together to use an 8mm hook because cotton grows a lot. It's quite dense.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. But that's what I did this week for fun. I'll pull out all the little balls and take a photo for Instagram here. So if you guys follow us on Instagram, you'll see the whole kit and caboodle. So there's that. But that's what I did for fun this week. Do I have time to work on it? No. This week has to be entirely flat white and Christmas knitting.
I'm feeling like I'm gonna have to put everything on pause and like I'm gonna try to get these mittens done. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. I have it in my head that like, oh yeah, I can totally do like mittens and socks, and then I look at the date and like, no. I'll be good. I'll be doing well if I get 1 mitten. Not a pair of mittens, a single mitten.
Mitten, yes. All right. You're not alone. You're not alone. Because I have a gray baby snuggie hug, and then this is the 2 colors that the eldest daughter picked out, and then a girlfriend of mine had a baby boy. And she wants one of those baby sack things. She sticks little ones in.
Yeah.
For her little one. So I was like, well, I'm not going to make something for him and not make something for his older sisters. So I got to confirm with the now middle daughter what 2 colors work in her mind best. And then I have to make things for them as well. I'm not done my sister's thing. I'm not done. None of this stuff has been accomplished.
Well, you have a little over a month.
Thank heavens I knit and crochet faster than you do, or I'd be super screwed. I'm only mostly screwed.
Well, all the things you want to make are not in fingering weight too, so that helps.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if it was fingering, no.
Like everything, I'm like, oh, I should make a pair of socks.
Oh, fingering weight.
I mean, like boring vanilla socks, like I can do a sock in a week, so like I could probably get a couple of pairs of socks done if I really tried, but then the mittens wouldn't happen. And then I still have to mail everything. So,
Yep.
Let's try the mittens. We'll try the mittens.
Hey, your box comes with an instruction set because there's more than 1 present in it.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So I put in a top sheet that says, "Hi, I contain a list of what's inside." So there'd be no confusion or less confusion because I don't think I labeled the 25th. I think I labeled 1 through 24, forgot to label 25.
It's okay. I didn't label any of yours because it was kind of irrelevant. So pick what brings you joy that day.
Works for me. I wrapped them all up. I stickered all the numbers, and then I got the teenager to label them. So I don't know what you're opening up on any given day either. It works. All right. I suppose it moves us on to wool gathering.
Wool gathering. Is this where I stumble my way through a Patreon announcement?
Yeah, you'll get the ad spots down eventually. I have faith in you.
Patreon is a way of financially supporting this podcast if you feel like it. There are 3 tiers. All 3 tiers will get you access to our Discord and our weekly Experimental Tuesday blog posts. I think it's my week this week, isn't it? Did you forget last week?
I may have not posted this week at all.
So we try to post on Tuesdays, an experimental cooking adventure. It doesn't always happen.
Achievers.
We alternate Tuesdays. Sometimes you get 2 posts on the same Tuesday.
Sometimes you get double posts. This week will be a double post.
We're only human.
Fudge buckets.
But yes, that's Patreon. If you want to financially support us. If you don't want to or can't, giving us a like, a share, a subscribe, interacting with us in the comments, or leaving a comment and hoping that maybe one day we read them and get back to you, because I know I'm really bad about that.
I'm not. It's always within a week.
Okay. So the replies you get in the comments are never me. If it is me, I will sign it as such. I respond to one about once a quarter. I will sign it as being from me.
That's funny.
Any kind of online interaction to make the algorithm happier with us is a great help.
Oh yeah, super help. Super big help.
Spread the joy. Make sure no one forgets to knit.
For the last part of these tragic year of 2020, we are doing a finish-a-thon. You guys, it's underway. It's after the 1st of November. It's going to run to the end of the year, and anything you finish counts. Did I weave in one end in a mug rug and count it? You bet your keister I wove in one end on a mug rug and counted, because it counts. Did you add a pom-pom to your hat this week? It counts. Did you put a button band on a sweater? It counts. Did you fix a pair of socks and mend a hole? It counts. Anything counts. Any fiber crafting counts. Non-fiber crafting counts. Guys, we're just going to celebrate getting our together and getting stuff done. Because that is harder to do than it sounds. On good years. Never mind this year.
Oh, yeah.
How it's going to work. Use the hashtag... Use the hashtag NKP Finishathon 2020 so we can find your posts on Instagram. If you don't use Instagram, you can email us with a picture of your finished project. And if you really sort of like using Facebook, we have a Facebook group. Come join us in the Facebook group and post your picture in there. So we're going to celebrate getting stuff done.
I think the plan is to put them into highlight reels that'll go into the podcast episodes in December.
Yeah, my hope is to be able to have enough going on there that we can have a little gallery every episode in December for everybody, so everybody else can share and enjoy everybody's finished works. So we're looking for submissions, not just mine. We're looking for everybody's submissions. Christmas presents count. Baby booties count. It's one of the few times where we have opened the doors up super wide and gone, you made it, it counts.
It's a craft, it counts.
Do you think I'm counting my fudge brownies I make this year? You bet your keister I'm counting my fudge brownies I make this year, and I'm putting a photo in because I finished it.
Ooh, well, if that counts.
And it's a craft. It's home baking for Christmas. It's a thing.
Well, if baking counts.
It counts. Let's see that finished stuff. I mean, how long it stays out of your belly is entirely up to you. I'm not
just
in
take a
charge of
picture
your
of
diet.
it first.
Just take a photo of it first. That's I was showing my sister those.
I made 2 loaves of banana bread 3 days ago, and yeah, they're gone. They're gone. There's only 2 of us here.
Yeah, and your point is what? I could do a banana loaf in 2 days.
It's good. It's so good.
I've been looking at the hot chocolate bombs.
Oh yeah.
Because I have to make my own marshmallows by hand. I haven't done it yet, but I feel like that might be a really good experimental Tuesday for me.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Because I've made my own marshmallow before, but I've never made a hot chocolate bomb. So I've been showing them to my sister, and my sister's like, yeah, we could try something like that. She's like, I think I have a mold. if you guys are new and you don't know, my sister is a trained and schooled baker. So like I go upstairs and go, I need a weird baking tool. 9 times out of 10, she already has it. She's just like, yeah, here you go. You can borrow it. Sweet, thanks. I'll return this later.
I have seen those videos and they look so great, but I know I'd make it like once, so it's not worth buying the weird little molds.
I want the weird little molds because I want to make, because I have to make all my own candy anyway, right? So like I want to start getting into that stuff. But I have to make my own marshmallow, and that's got to happen first. And making your own marshmallow so that it's corn free is a pain in the keister. If you do not have to, do not do it. Unless you really like homemade marshmallow, in which case I can't blame you. I've only ever had homemade marshmallow, and I think it's delicious. But I have to use different ingredients because I can't have the corn. So if you can buy it store-bought and you like store-bought, just eat store-bought. It's fine.
I just don't like marshmallow all that much.
I enjoy puffed rice squares, like the 70-year-old grandmother that I am. Puffed rice squares.
Okay.
And you bind them with marshmallow, which I can't have unless I make it. My sister also makes like Rice Krispie treats version for me, which is essentially Jocelyn friendly Rice Krispies, which by the way is not the Rice Krispies. You have to buy like a no name hipster rice, crisped rice, to get the corn free ones without sugar in them to make Rice Krispie squares for me. This is how bad the corn is, guys. It is everywhere. But it's the same with like if I want to make butter tarts and stuff, I have to make it at home from scratch. Same with pies and things because they use golden syrup and cornstarch, and both of those are straight up corn.
Yeah, well, those things homemade are 10 times better anyway, so.
In my mind, that is true. All right, shall we talk about some yarn acquisitions?
Yeah, you got some yarn.
So with the incredibly vague instructions that it needed to be Burnett handcrafter cotton in the big ball and Christmas colored so that I could film a tutorial this week, I got Christmas colored yarn.
Woo.
So nothing fancy. It's the classic Christmas color stripes. So it's red, it's Christmas red, it's Christmas green, it's Christmas white. It's the Burnett Yarn Inspirations handcrafter cotton. It's the big ball. And why, Jocelyn? Because I'm finally going to make a video tutorial now that I finally finished writing out the pattern for my pot holders. So this is a crochet thing. I've made a set for my mom. I've made a set for my sister. I think I made a set for Diana. I can't remember.
I think that was, I don't know. I don't have a set of pot holders.
Then I didn't make you pot holders. I made somebody else pot holders. Then I got really mad about them and stopped making them for a while because I was making nothing but pot holders for a long time. I was like, I need a break. So these are an extra large, double thick cotton pot holders. And now that I know Diana doesn't have a set, she might be getting the Christmas ones. You can use them whenever. So I'm going to film me making these so that everybody can see the video tutorial for free. And then if they just want the PDF pattern, I'll have it available for sale on Ravelry and I hope Lovecrafts. I'm only 2/3 of the way through setup. My eyes get tired and I give up. And then I don't do it for days on end because my eyes are tired and I don't want to. Tiny print is tiny.
Yes,
all right.
Yes, it is.
The other thing I got, which was way more random. We saw, you know who I'm talking about, the Roll With It Red Heart Sparkle.
That's so sparkle. Wow.
So sparkle. This is an acrylic worsted. I have 2 balls of each of these colors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my phone when I figure out where I put it. Over here. And I'm going to, hey, my sister texted me. And then she probably came downstairs and talked to me. Tell you guys the color, because I did not bother to look that up in advance. Hey, it would help if I held it the right way up. This one is called Diamonds. That's apt.
Yeah, could be diamonds.
So it's a lovely gray rotation. I have 2 of them. There's about 500 and some odd yards per ball, which is a beefy acrylic ball.
Yeah.
So I have 2 of them. And then I have 2 in this colorway, which I will also look at the label for so you guys can have a name for it. It's called Pixie. It makes sense. It's pink. And I've got 2 in this pink rotation, pink to white rotation.
Cute.
They're a color cake ball. They are what they are. But I have finally finished charting out the in-between lace work for the zodiac sign shawls I want to start putting out. So these guys are going to be the 2 samples I do in the worsted to show off that you can use a color work ball in the acrylics, and then I have some other ones in not acrylics and wool, so I can show off different types of wool and different weights of wool for them. So I'm not going to make all 12 shawls in worsted and all 12 shawls in fingering. I'm just going
That's
to
a
make
lot
a
of shawls.
sampling because that's a lot of shawls. But I do have all the charts worked out finally and the instructions worked out. They also are going to come in 3 different shapes. So I'm like, that's too much shawl for me. So I'm going to work them up and I'm going to release them in collections. So you'll get the fire signs together, water signs together, air, you get the idea. So then that way you'll have the 3 base patterns to pick from, and then you'll have a picture at the very least of each of the lace charts worked out. The problem is I've never charted a pattern before, so that's really what slowed me down because I want charts to be available for people who don't like written instructions. So now that I've got the charts worked out, and then I discovered there's a program that'll just do it for you. So I feel like a tool now. We're buying the program. So I can just plug and play a lot faster. So I got to get that done, and then I want to get the samples that I'm going to make up. Obviously, they're going to be at least one of each of the signs, and I'm obviously making a Pisces one because I am a Pisces, and that will be in different weights because that's my sign, and I get to make those decisions. There will be a Leo one because my mom is a Leo. That will be in a cotton so that my mom can wear it. An Aquarius one will happen because my sister's Aquarius. My niece is a Scorpio. Like, some of the shawls will happen. Pisces might happen more than once, and one might go to Diana. Like, it's just, that's how that's going to work for me in my brain. I might make Mr. B live with another scarf, and I might make him a Virgo. He's just going to have to deal with that. And I'll get a groan and a sigh because then he'll feel obligated to buy me a present. Works for me on so many levels because I am that kind of a jerk. So I just, that's what's going on, but that's been consuming a lot of my background brain for a while because I had some other patterns and stuff I want to get finished. So now that I'm at a point where I'm comfortable, and if we're honest, we're starting with Pisces because, again, hello. I know I'm the 12th sign. I'd like to go first for once. Thank you very much. So we are going first.
Good.
And that's going to be it. I don't know if I want to offer them individually or as the 3 sets. I haven't figured that part out yet. I know I want to have them as collections, but I also don't know if I want to have them available for individual purchase. So that I haven't figured out yet because I need to bounce some ideas off people's brains. And me and Diana record pretty late, so we're both kind of loopy by the time we get to each other.
Yep.
So it works great for me. But I do have a worsted weight winter one that I want to get finished this week. So like that's gotta, I have to work on that this week. And then I've got that flat white I have to work on this week. So like I already know what I have to work on this week and a pot holder pattern to get out. So I have things are coming. And again, if you don't like video tutorials, you can buy anything a video tutorial. I'll have a PDF version available for purchase. So if I'm offering the free tutorial, but you don't like it, you can just buy the pattern. You do not have to watch me explain it to you because everybody learns differently.
Cool.
And no, Asa, I am not making you a blanket of doom. Talk to me in 2 years when I don't remember how hard it was. I just remember the end product. You might sucker me then.
Really pretty. I wonder why I haven't made another one yet.
Because I'd start one and then I'd be like, this is why I haven't made another one yet, because I get so annoyed. Oh my gosh. All right. That was my yarn gathering. A lot of information at people's heads. I am sorry. Not so sorry.
All right. Well, let's get through some literature. Talk about what we're reading, and then we can go off and have dinner.
It's a good idea. What are you having for dinner? I don't know what I want to make yet. No, I want burgers and fries. I decided that earlier.
You did. I think I'm making fried rice, or maybe omu rice. I haven't decided. It'll be fried rice with something.
I had chai masala for lunch, so I feel like I should go not Indian for dinner. Get some flavors of the world. I had Japan for breakfast, Indian for lunch, so like American for dinner.
Sounds about right.
I made miso soup with a thing of salmon, a salmon fillet, and then I had it with lightly pickled carrots and some fried tofu and rice.
Sounds good.
It was very good. It was a very good breakfast. It's one of my favorite ones to make. So super segue. Let's talk books because I'm
Books.
hungry. It's gonna be hard to keep me focused. Another tome topple started. Guess what I'm doing? Reading a bunch of really big books. Oh my gosh, because I'm crazy. I like books, guys. I like big books. I am reattempting The Waking Fire by Anthony Ryan. I tried reading it in another tome topple, so it will count. They do bingo squares, and you guys know me and my bingo squares. We do them every year for fun. Diana didn't even fill hers out this year.
Yeah, I forgot to like write that down. I'm
You
pretty
did.
sure I'm doing some of the stuff on it. Let me see if I can find that while you're talking.
Mine is under here. I need to check off some things, but it's underneath my backdrop. So you can count a tome is a book over 500 pages. You can find Tome Topple on Instagram, on Goodreads, on YouTube, on like they're all over the place, and they're a wonderful collection of people who spend 2 weeks trying to read books over 500 pages. That is the baseline of the readathon. For fun, if you'd like to do additional challenges, you're certainly more than welcome to do so for yourself. I'm going to try to go for Sage again, which means reading multiple big books. So The Waking Fire is the first one. It has a red shaded cover, so it's got different shades of red on the cover, which counts for the autumnal colored square, so like a book with a seasonal cover on it, the season's cover on it. And it's also going to count as the tome you attempted in a previous tome topple but didn't finish, because I only made it into like chapter 10 or 12 the first time I went through it, and I've been re-listening to it, and I'm back to where I was the first time. So I remember everything, which might not be helping with my boredom factor any. I might be remembering bits. So I'm trying to get through that. I know for sure I'm going to read Rhythm of War, which is the latest in the Brendan Sanderson Stormlight Archive series. These things are 48 plus hours long to listen to on Audible. Like, they are huge books, and I love them. So like that's my behemoth this round. It's to make my way through that, but it's the next big one in the series, and I really like the series, so I'm going to read it done. After that, I don't know, but if I want Sage, I got to get like 6 to 9 squares filled in, and I can only count one book for 2 squares max. So I've got to read at least 4 books. 6? Yeah, I need to read like 3 to 4 books, because I think there's only like one I can only count one time. So yeah, I think I need to read like 4 books this time around. So we're giving it a go, because I made Sage title once. Didn't sleep a lot, but it was delightfully fun. So I'm going to challenge myself to do that again. The other thing I was trying to finish before Tome Topple started, which I did not finish, was a completely random pickup I found by accident by following my suggestions from the algorithm on Audible.
It's almost like the algorithm knows you.
Well, it knows I like ridiculous books. And it suggested Witches Be Crazy. You guys have to understand, I read things like The Wrong Dead Body and We Are Legion, We Are Bob. I like people that play around with genre tropes. In this case, we're playing around in the fantasy genre, and we are not what you think we are. I was reading Diana some of the synopsis from the back. It's not. It plays with all of your concepts of what a fantasy trope and a fantasy story should be like, and I am having a delightful amount of fun listening to it. So I have that, and I'm going on it. I started it before Tome Topple, and it's not 500 pages. This is like the 320, 350 page marker. So I won't finish it till after Tome Topple, because I really want to see if I can make Sage. But yeah, it's like Gork, the Teenage Dragon. Like, it's just a delightful book. I don't know why it's only got 3.25 on Goodreads stars, because right now it's sitting at like a 4 or 5 star for me. Like, it's just beautiful and light and fluffy, and you just like, you gotta watch out in the desert, because there's a snake that will hypnotize you just so it can headbutt you. It's got such pretty cutie doe eyes that you're just so relaxed and entranced and so mellow. You don't see it when it headbutts you. And as far as anybody knows, the only reason it does it is because it wants to for amusement. It's not a serious book. Do not approach it as a serious book. But if you want to just laugh at some of the tropes you read in fantasy, oh yeah, just it's beautiful, beautiful. Read it, enjoy it. You're welcome. Just so good. I think Diana will probably end up picking it up.
It does sound like something I would enjoy.
It's like the Everything box series, which has also got the wrong dead body in it, or like We Are Legion, We Are Bob. Just messes with your concept of what a genre right should be, and you're like, yes, thank you. I enjoyed that. That was delightful. All right, but that's it. There'll obviously be more books next week since I am gonna chug through as many as possible.
I picked up a book again, an audiobook.
Woohoo!
Children of Blood and Bone I've started listening to again, which I don't remember why I put that down, because I haven't yet read a young adult book in a while, and I kind of forgot how they're just like, boom, this thing, and it's just like go, go, go all the time, and there's like no downtime, it's just all action. And I'm like, I am into this. It is so much fun.
It's a nice break because I find sometimes adult books tend to take too long to get to where they're going.
Yeah, this one's just like, and now we're here, and we're solving this problem, and here's the next problem, and now we're gonna go solve it, and the kids are gonna save the world. Kids,
Yep.
They're teenagers. If I was, in fact, a young adult reading this book, I would not be saying the kids are gonna go save the world, but I'm like 30, so.
You're old.
I'm old. They're kids. The kids are gonna save the world.
I do like the pace of young adult books. I'm not always a fan of the main protagonist all the time. The teenage whine gets to me at this point in my life, but they grow, which doesn't always happen in adult books. A lot of the times adult characters have no growth arc, and you're like, really? What was the purpose of this? You learned nothing.
Yes, there is much growing and character development happening with these ones, because you've got you've got the princess that's never been outside the palace on this journey, and you've got the magic user from like a poverty-stricken village, her and her brother on this journey, and they're just like butting heads but solving problems and being friends but not really, and yeah, it's all the good young adult stuff.
All the good young adult stuff. All the
narrator.
drama.
The narrator is so great too, because it's set in Africa, and the narrator's reading it with I'm going to say an African accent because I don't actually know specifically what country, and I know Africa's not a country, and I'm sorry, but the accent is really great.
Hard if you don't know, because there's like I'll say UK accent because I'm not always 100% sure which is which, because there's a lot, and it's not something I hear all the time, so I would have a heck of a time differentiating between that. Like in Africa as a continent, it's a big continent.
Yeah, but I'm gonna hazard a guess Nigerian, but I'm not 100% certain on that.
Listen, we live in Canada. We don't sound anything like Newfoundlanders.
No,
not a darn thing, and we're in the same country.
Yeah, Newfies are their own place.
We don't sound like people from Quebec either.
Yeah, well, they speak French.
Even when they speak English, we don't sound like them.
They speak more French than English.
We have different accents, and we're in the same country. It's crazy.
Yeah, accents and action.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So Children of Blood and Bone. It's good. Good book.
It's a good book.
Recommend.
It's a good book. I really enjoyed it. When I read it ages ago, but hello, speed at which I go through books, we can't count that. I just read too much. That's fine.
There's no such thing.
In my mind, there's no such thing, because I won't be able to do it into my 80s or 90s. I'm only going to be able to do it till my vision's done, and then that's it. I'm out, because the Audible app is not accessible.
Well, hopefully they get better by then.
Here's hoping. All right, which I suppose makes we're done.
It does mean we're done.
Cool. So I will say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you,
don't forget to knit.
Did we say Patreon live knit-in was this Saturday?
You know what? We totally did not.
Cool.
We're saying it now. I got distracted.
Super professional.
We
Right
got
there.
distracted with Experimental Tuesday.
We
Patreon
did.
Live Enidin is this Saturday at noon, Manitoba time.
I so forgot to do my write-up about turmeric milk. Oh,
We're professional. I found my bingo sheet.
we only started that in January.
It's fine. I actually did pretty well on it. It's just not actually a bingo sheet.